Today we are making what I genuinely think is the most elegant vegan cake you can bake at home, an elevated carrot cake. We're talking about a beautifully moist vegan sponge, a silky cream cheese frosting stabilized with cacao butter, a jammy carrot confit filling, and a walnut praline crunch layer that adds a little magic between each bite. Let's get into it. Before we mix a single thing, I want to show you a prep trick that saves so much frustration. Take a sheet of baking paper, fold it in half, then in half again and again. You want 3 to 4 folds so it forms a triangle. Now cut the open edge off so you get a clean curve. Then along that curved edge, cut small notches about a centimeter deep all the way around. When you unfold it, you have a perfect circle with the little tabs that fan out around the edge. Drop it into your 16 centimeter ring, press the tabs up the sides, and the paper sits flush with the wall. This prevents batter from leaking out. Professional pastry kitchens call this feathering the paper. The notches allow the flat sheet to conform to a curved surface without bunching. Spray lightly with a neutral oil before lining for extra insurance. Now let's make the sponge batter. A few things I want to explain before we start, because this is a vegan batter and it behaves slightly different to a conventional one. First, aquafaba. That's the liquid from a tin of chickpeas. Acts as our egg replacer here. But we're not going to whip it to stiff peaks like a meringue. We just want it foamy and aerated. Secondly, apple cider vinegar plus oat milk creates a vegan buttermilk on contrast. Sifting your dry ingredients isn't just about removing lumps, it aerates the flour and ensures the leveling agents are evenly distributed, which prevents uneven rise and those unwanted dome tops. Whisk the aquafaba until foamy. Emulsify the oil with both sugars and vanilla. Fold in the aquafaba. Add oat milk and vinegar. Sift in the dry ingredients and fold gently just until no flour streaks remain. Then fold the carrots through last. The batter should be fluid but coat the spoon. If it ribbons off cleanly, you're in great shape. Divide the batter evenly between your 2 line rings and bake at 160 degrees Celsius fan for 30 to 35 minutes. Resist opening the oven before the 28-minute mark. The aquafaba structure is delicate while it's still setting. While the cakes bake, we make the 2 components that elevate this from a nice vegan cake to what did I just eat? For the carrot confit, cut carrots into very fine brunoise, which are tiny, even cubes, and cook them gently with orange juice, sugar, and a pinch of salt until the liquid reduces and the carrots become glossy and almost jam-like. If you want a slightly firmer, more controlled set, mix agar. This is a technique from fine dine pastry to control moisture migration between layers. For the walnut praline, make a dry caramel. So cook sugar, slowly adding more in the pan without any water until it's deep amber. Add walnuts, stir to coat, and pour onto a silicone mat to cool completely. Once set, crush in a food processor but leave it chunky. If you want some texture, toast with a little melted cacao butter. As it cools, it binds into clusters and forms a thin, crispy layer between the cake and confit. This frosting is everything a cream cheese frosting should be. Tangy, smooth, and pipeable. Use a high-fat vegan cream cheese and keep it cold. If it's warm, it will make the frosting split. So beat your vegan butter with icing sugar until genuinely pale and fluffy. Then add the cream cheese gradually. Add vanilla and a small squeeze of lemon. The acidity sharpens the flavor and cuts the sweetness. Finally, with the mixer running slowly, stream in the cacao butter melted and cooled about 35 degrees Celsius. Just liquid but not hot. Temperature control is everything in vegan frostings. The fats and plant-based cream cheese and butter have different melting points to dairy, so they are more sensitive to warmth. Once completely cool, the cakes need to be leveled and split. I will show you exactly where to cut. First, use a long serrated knife to remove the top domed layer if there is one. Just a thin slice following the highest flat point across the top. Taste it now. That's chef's privilege. Now look at the side of the sponge. Find the halfway point and mark it lightly with a toothpick all the way around as a guide if you need that. Slice horizontally through the sponge with slow, confident strokes. Don't saw, use long pulls. The key is rotating the cake into the knife rather than forcing the knife through the cake. First layer of sponge goes on your border plate. I put a tiny dot of frosting underneath to stop sliding. Spread a thin, even layer of frosting across the top. Now pipe a border of frosting around the outer edge. This acts as a dam, keeping the confit in place and giving you a clean edge. Fill the center with carrot confit. Second layer goes on top. Frosting layer, pipe border, then walnut praline spread across the center generously. The crunch is the contrast everyone will notice but not be able to identify. Third layer, frosting, then carrot confit again. Final sponge layer on top, bottom side up for a perfectly flat surface. Now apply your crumb coat. A very thin layer of frosting all over, sealing in every crumb. The crumb coat doesn't need to look perfect, it just needs to be everywhere. Refrigerate for at least 20 minutes until firm before the final coat. For the decoration today, I'm keeping it beautifully simple. This cake is for my family, so it's going to disappear very quickly, and honestly, it doesn't need much. I'm scattering some of the walnut praline clusters across the top and tucking in a few branches of fresh rosemary. The dark green against the cream is really striking, and the rosemary gives this faintly herbal, almost floral note that works so well with carrot and walnut. Fresh herb garnishes on cakes are a classic French pastry technique. The oils in the rosemary subtly perfume the top layer of frosting the longer it sits. It's a flavor detail as much as a visual one. And that is your elevated vegan carrot cake. If you make this, I would genuinely love to see it. Tag me or drop a photo in the comments, like and subscribe if you want to see more recipes like this, and I will see you in the next one.